Hi there, my name's Bren Vanderswag. I'm the president of GutterExperts.com and founder of Gutter-Con, which is being held 95 days from now in Denver, Colorado. Leading up to Gutter-Con, I'll be doing a series of live Facebook events where I'll be chatting with a variety of people in the gutter world. Speakers who will be presenting at Gutter-Con, suppliers, and regular gutter guys just like you and me. We'll be talking about their businesses and how they play a role in today's gutter industry. So I'd like to introduce to you my guest for today, Steve Levonyak. He's the shop foreman over at NewTek Machinery in Denver, Colorado, and he's one of our NewTek's one of our gold sponsors at Gutter-Con. So, hi Steve, how you doing today?
Wonderful. How you doing today, Bren?
Good, good. What's the weather like in Denver?
About 2 degrees for the high today, and a little bit of snow, and we'll get more snow this evening.
Wow, that's pretty cold.
Yeah, it's unusual. Usually we get this in January.
Yeah.
Overnight lows where I'm at will be about -10 tonight.
Wow. Oh, I didn't realize it got that cold there.
Yes.
Well, it's mild here. It's above freezing here today. So that's a little odd being up here in Canada, but it's just all has to do with that jet stream, right?
Exactly, and it decided to dip down into us this week.
Yeah.
So
I think it's going to be, and usually when it heads our way, we're probably 2-3 days behind you. So
yes.
so being as a manufacturer, I guess, maybe one of the things I'd like to maybe chat about, and I'm sure some of the guys would be interested about, is just, maybe tell us a little bit about NewTek Machinery and, when they got in the business, how they got in the business, maybe some of the people that, started NewTek, and, I guess maybe lead into how you got into the role, or, how you started with NewTek and what you're doing now.
Okay. Well, the company was founded and started in 1991 by the name of Larry Colbin. Started the business and brought in some players to start up with the panel machines and the gutter machines. We brought in Ron Shell that ran a couple companies and designed a few of the gutter machines. We all call him the gutter guru. Come designing stuff, you can just draw it out on a napkin, and
yeah,
rest of it works.
What did Larry do before NewTek? Like what made him get into it?
He ran several other businesses, and something popped up about manufacturing metal work, rolling coils, forming stuff. Thought I'd give it a try, and wow, look, 31 years later, look where we're at.
Wow. Yeah. Did I see that? I think the other day when we chatted, you're in 41 countries all over the world.
Yes, we ship crate containers over into Europe now, Iran, Iraq. We have a lot of business in Ghana, Africa. They're really booming, expanding over there. It's nice to see the people come in for tours and looking at the equipment, doing plant tours. It's nice to put a face to the voice that we talk to over the phones from time to time.
Yeah, yeah, and of course, at Gutter-Con, we've got a factory tour plan. So to people that are listening, make sure that you sign up for that. So just going back to, back when Larry got started, and I can't remember the fellow's name, the guru guy. What was his name?
Ron Shell.
Yeah, yeah. So let's just go back to that then.
Yeah, he was the one that came up with polyurethane drive rollers. Instead of pulling the material with metal rollers, the metal rollers pulling the material, he came up with a design of polyurethane.
Yeah.
And that's what we started NewTek off with, was the polyurethane drive rollers.
What's the benefit for that?
Benefits: wear and tear. You're not pulling off of the forming stations where you got to put more pressure on the forming dies will wear them out quicker.
Okay.
The polyurethane drives have more of a grip, so you can pull 1,000, 3,000, 5,000 pound coil, depending on machines.
Oh yeah.
So you got a lot of pulling power.
And was that that time, like back in 1991? Is that when these polyurethane pieces just became available, like, or was it something new?
Something new. Ron experimented a lot with, there's a lot that goes into a polyurethane drive roller. That could be a whole nother segment there.
Mm,
He played around getting the chemistry, getting the properties right, the rebound right, the rebound of the rollers from when the machine sits when you fire it up, so it doesn't have flat spots in the roller.
mhm.
The hardness of the roller, so it's not too soft, not too hard.
So he actually played a role in the design of the chemical product that made the polyurethane?
Yes, and we still use that today.
Really?
Yeah, he's 93. We started coming out with the gutter machines, panel machine for right behind it
Hmm.
for the roofing materials. Same drives, same polyurethane drive system, just different with the rollers
Hmm. Hmm.
and all that. It was Ron going down the line. I started with the company in 2002.
Hmm.
Ron interviewed me, hired me. We all joke in the shop that I took this job as a temporary job. And Ron was nice enough to bring me on board with my background. And 19 and a half years later, what a career it's been, watching the company grow.
What did you start as when you came to New Tech?
Started off as a roller builder, building
Yeah.
all the stations individually. Once I got down that path and got it set up, I wanted to learn how to build the machines,
Hmm.
the panel department from the ground up, setting the hydraulics, doing the wiring, adding the AMS controllers back then. Just, it's not an overnight thing. It's something you can't, someone off the streets have experience, just mechanically inclined,
Hmm.
just following the process.
Hmm.
That was a lot of fun. Ron was the only tech guy at the time doing panels and gutters. And after a couple years there, learning most of the panel stuff and still learning, he went on vacation one morning in the meeting. They tell me, "Oh, Steve, by the way, you're doing tech calls this week." So that was a new challenge for me because I wasn't comfortable on the phones.
Yeah.
So I learned a lot that week, but it made me realize what our customers are dealing with out there out in the field day to day
Hmm.
life out there. And every time I took a tech call, I shared it with the guys out in the shop. Where can we improve on the product?
Mm.
Was it just a one and done thing out there? And just learned a lot that there wasn't training.
Hmm.
At that time, we didn't have much training going on. So Ron and I sat down and talked and came up with a training program. They can come in and train on the machine. We'll walk them through it, show them how to do a roller change. Then
You mean
also
like gutter guys like me could come in? You guys would train like gutter guys?
gutter guys and panel guys come on in. When you buy the
Oh
machine,
yeah.
we train you on your machine. So when you leave,
Yeah.
you know how the machine works, the machine, how it runs, how to set it up, and if there's problems, how to make fine adjustments from coil
Hmm.
to coil.
Hmm.
And that really took off. And that was about 2004, 2005. I started traveling a lot at that time. I was the lead in the panel department, overseeing the operation. And then just putting a training program that sent me out on the road a lot, training new customers, travel all over the US, outside the US. A lot of fun times meeting our customers with the machine, seeing how excited they are, training all their employees,
Yeah.
and watched them grow with us over the years, which has just been impressive. I
Yeah.
went with one company that had one of our machines, trained them, and today they have nine pieces of our equipment in the shop between panels and gutters.
Wow.
So seeing the growth of the company has just been unbelievable over the past 19 years.
Hmm. So just
Um,
getting back to the um, when you were on that week that you were on the phone, manning the phone for problems coming in while your guy was on vacation. Um, what would be the typical problems that were being called in back then?
Back then, on the panel machines was the shear. We used a refractive eye that sent the signal down to the panel and refract it back to give a signal saying, okay, you can go ahead and cut. Okay, you can run your next panel. As a safety feature, so it just doesn't keep kicking panels out.
Mhm.
A lot of times when we tell them to spray the shear blades to keep them lubricated, to keep the heat down and longevity of it, the mist usually plugged up that eye with dust since you're out in the dusty environment, and it tripped the eye, so it cuts one piece off your first job, then it wouldn't cut no more. So you got to go through steps. Okay, just shut the machine off, wipe the eye off with a piece of napkin, rag, fire it right back, and it took right off and running. Some of those were that was just one of the basic ones we got a lot. And then
Do you still have that problem today, or have you figured it out?
What we decided was down the road was we all sit in an engineering meeting discussing, what calls, what we'd like to see changed, what would help out the service team that Ron and I were trying to develop, was to get rid of the eye and go with the proximity switch, where you can put like a 1/4 inch of mud on top and still senses the metal flowing through it, above it. That eliminated the tech calls right there. So we went after that. A lot of problems that our customers were having that were so simple, we made changes in the shop.
Yeah, that makes sense. That just that happens over time, I guess, right?
It does. You start finding patterns the more you're on the phone and all that. On the gutter side, we came up with, it's easy, which a lot of gutter guys out there listening will understand this, is misfeeding the material when you first put the first piece off the coil in.
Yeah.
You lose your lip, then all of a sudden it comes back, and you waste a good 5-6 feet and all that. So Ron and the team came up with a post-entry guide support. So once you go into your entry guide, you have support post that locks it in, so you can't twist the material. Guides it in straight, first piece right off the bat, it's nice and straight. Good lip on it, and you're good to go.
Yeah.
And that was most of our tech calls that we got in the beginning of the days.
Yeah. So would much have changed? Like, I'm sure you guys have a tech department now that, people call, of course, if there's issues. I mean, I know with my gutter machine, nothing really ever happens to it. It just kind of runs all the time. Once in a while we'll get jammed up, but I mean, for the most part, it just runs. I shouldn't say that. Something will probably happen tomorrow.
True, Murphy's Law.
Yeah, of course.
A lot of it is now we developed the last couple of years a service department. Ben Bradley runs that department. Built up a good team. We're still building it. You figure we have over 5,000, 6,000 machines combined out there in the field. So they've been busy setting up training. We've been really pushing the training. We have a full-time tech that travels to go out and train a lot of our customers. We figure the more training they get, the less tech calls we get, and the more comfortable the customer feels about their equipment going forward.
There must be a cost to have you come out. I mean, if I buy a gutter machine from you today, you're not going to come out and fly up here to Nova Scotia and teach me how to run it, are you?
No, there's a small fee, the traveling fee and hotel fee and all that, get up there. A lot of some guys like to come to the shop, see the shop, get trained in the shop, see what our shop's all about, how the equipment's made and adjust it. Some customers like us to go out to the shop to train their whole department. It can be 5 to 10 to 12 guys at once. They'll be running the equipment. So it's justifiable at that point.
Yeah, if you got a big enough of a crew, for sure.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, cool. So did I ask, like, what sort of problems would be typical, nowadays? Like
nowadays, a lot of stuff we fixed. A lot of the new stuff is just with the pandemic going on, we noticed a lot of people decided to go in business for themselves. So we have a lot of new people learning how to run the machines and just not being familiar with the machines.
Yeah.
We're constantly updating our video library on scenarios on machines. Ben Bradley's been working on that. The service team's been working on it. or you can go to our website and check out our videos on how to do a combo change on a gutter machine from a 5-inch to a 6-inch. A lot of people miss one step, and that'll cause a gutter machine to crash. And I say on a gutter machines, you just put it in reverse and back it up and you're good to go. Panel machines is a different story. You can't back it up. You have to go forward. So,
oh, gee. So, I mean, not to get into too much detail, but I mean, that sounds like cutting the coil in the machine, trying to get it to go through.
Yes, it happens to everyone. And yes, 19 and a half years, I did it a couple of weeks ago, showing a customer. I show them, you see that? Yes, you don't want to do that. This is how it happened. This is how you fix it. It's going to happen. And that's where a lot of training comes in. Basic quality control checks on your coil. Make sure it's the right width before you go to a job site. Make sure it's squared up to their entry guides on gutters and panels. Little stuff like that will give you a headache during the day. The little steps.
I don't run steel through my gutter machine, but you're able to do that, right? It's not a problem.
Yes, no problem. As everyone knows, coil, you run different tensile strengths. We'll pick gutters, for example. You can run 032 aluminum, 027. You can run 26 gauge steel. You can even run copper through the machines.
Yeah, we do some copper too. Yeah.
And always what I tell customers, which goes back to our tech calls, well, we're planning on running some copper. What am I going to have to do? Well, we all know copper's soft, so run like an 8-foot piece through. Let's see what it looks like, and let's give it what it's telling us. Learn how to read the panel or the gutter, and it'll let us know what adjustments we need to make. Instead of guessing, we just go off of what the panel's telling us. Same thing on the panel sides. We can run 22 gauge, 50 tensile strength, 26 gauge steel. I've been playing with 80 tensile strength for 26 gauge, and that works real well because it affects like a 24 gauge. It runs like 24 gauge, so there's very little adjustments. As a lot of people know, on our machines, we have very little adjustments on the machine. I always joke when I train with the customer, it's not NASCAR where you give it 1.5 turns a wedge in it, make it go uphill. 1/8 of a turn, a 1/16 of a turn on a centric shaft will make a huge adjustment. That's how much control we put in the machines. Every machine is inspected, built, adjusted. We have a quality control department that we developed end of last year into this year. Where someone else goes through the machine, inspects it. We run material through it to make sure everything's kosher. We have full adjustment, full control before it goes out the door.
Just going back to metal thickness, is there a gauge that's thicker than 032? Is there a 0.040?
Yeah, we have 040. We can run that through our panel machines.
Would you run that through a gutter machine?
You can. It just stresses a lot.
Yeah.
We always tell our customers, you can run a piece. Let's see what it looks like. We'll have to when you start going thicker gauges, you have to start opening up some of your roller stations to give it that release, so we're not stretching it. So it doesn't, when it comes out of the machine, it doesn't look like a banana peeling off the one side coming out of the machine.
Yeah.
Panel machines, you can run 040 aluminum, or BG7 or 7-inch box machine.
I was just going to ask you about that. Yeah.
Yes, we ran 040, and I have ran some with 050 to play with. We're always constantly playing with what can we add. We listen to our customers, and we'll go and play with some.
I actually was contemplating ordering a 7-inch machine from you guys, and thinking about picking it up at Gutter-Con. I didn't do it. The price was a little bit high, but I've been thinking about getting one. Right now I buy 7-inch material from a company down in the States, and I bring it in lengths. But I'd really like to have a machine so I wouldn't have to run run 30, 40-foot lengths, because I'm restricted to how much I can carry on my trailer, right? Like how long the trailer is. So,
Yeah.
what would you say most, you may not know this, but I'll ask a question anyway. If guys are running 7-inch, are they mainly running steel or are they mainly running aluminum, would you say?
The last couple we built were aluminum.
Mhm.
And what we do is we'll adjust it in steel, 24 gauge. Then we'll go over to 040 aluminum, 032 aluminum, make adjustments there. Then we'll go back to steel. So we'll dial it in as close as possible. So there's very little adjustments.
Mhm.
And then we'll mark all the centric shafts with one color and put a dimple in it and color it. And we'll label it for steel. And then if it's
Right.
aluminum, we'll color it a different color and label
So
it for aluminum.
would you do that all before the machine leaves the plant?
Yes,
Oh, okay. So it's all set up, ready to go for your customer.
exactly. So if they're running steel the first couple of jobs and all of a sudden they got aluminum, hey, Steve, we're running aluminum. What do I need to do?
Mhm.
We'll look at all your centric shafts, move them to that notch, and that's a starting point at that
Mhm.
point. Then after that, then we'll tweak it a little if we have to.
Mhm. So what would be the benefit of having, I mean, obviously having aluminum, it doesn't rust, but what's the benefit of one or the other when you're running gutter in a bigger machine like that?
In a
Or
bigger
is there a
machine,
benefit?
really isn't. A lot of commercial buildings with a 7-inch box, it's preference.
Mhm.
Depends on what the engineer specs out. Some engineers say they told us we got to be steel, so we got to run steel.
Mhm.
Aluminum's lighter, easy to transport, wear and tear on your vehicle transporting it compared to steel coils. Lighter, especially with our panel equipment, you can run as long as a piece as you want. You're not constricted to a 40-foot piece because that's what can be delivered on a trailer. If you want to run a 100-foot piece, you can run a 100-foot piece. Aluminum, easier with less guys to lift it up on the roof compared to steel.
Yep.
Gets heavy after a certain point, and you'll need a few more extra hands lifting that sucker up.
Yeah. Do you guys deal like with do you have much to say about expansion and contraction factors?
Um, we calculate in there when we form our panels that have the gaps. So if it does expand, like with the gutters, we have the clips. We leave extra room in there in case it expands. It doesn't start buckling the gutters. It has room for it. So
Yeah.
we calculate all that when we design our profiles.
Yeah, I know up here in Canada, we really, especially in the winter, we have to think about how long our lengths of gutter are and how cold it is, because you'll get that first really nice warm day in May and you'll get 2 or 3 calls of anyone who had a 70-footer or more. If if you didn't run it properly, or if it's too long and you put it up when it was too cold, it'll just buckle out.
Yes, and with all the, with the specs out there, and every, couple feet you put a clip in it,
Hmm.
a lot of people will stretch it out a little bit more, and with the ice build up in gutters and all that, that's a lot of weight on them. So a few more clips would help that problem out.
Yeah, yeah. Hmm.
Um,
So when did the 7-inch machine, when did you guys put that machine out? Is that a relatively new thing for you guys?
no, we say around 2006, I believe.
Hmm.
2005, 2006, we came out with it,
Hmm.
designed it, took it to our MetalCon and IRE shows. Um, Not one of our big sellers. We average about 3 to 5 a year.
Hmm.
Last year, I believe we did 4. This year, we already have 4 on the books.
It's a big ticket item, so, and I bet you the prices are, I mean, all prices of all gutter machines have gone up, haven't they?
Yes, with the metal demand, I know everyone hears about the pandemic. It hurt a lot of people.
Yeah,
And it's just demand for material. It just raised the cost up on everyone. We try
yeah.
to keep the cost down. We try to absorb some of it for the company to help the customers out to a certain
Hmm.
point.
Yeah, you can only do
Um,
so much though, huh?
exactly. And then we just
Hmm.
have to pass it on.
Yeah. I mean, one good thing in some ways is that the used equipment prices are up too now. So if you're selling the machine, you're going to get probably a pretty good dollar for it compared to what you paid for it.
Oh, absolutely. Biggest thing out there is just people maintaining it, preventive maintenance.
Right. So what would be some preventive maintenance? I have to be honest with you. We don't do a lot of preventive maintenance. So, tell me and tell some of the guys that are listening, what should they be doing?
Preventive maintenance is not when my machine's been running so good, haven't had time, now all of a sudden it broke. What do I need to do? Well,
Mhm.
first off, we need to get the customer up and running. Might be a broken chain, worn out shear blade. Preventive maintenance, we'll talk about gutter machines, is take the covers off, inspect everything after a few coils. When you have a little bit of half hour to an hour, take the covers off. Just go through it, make sure everything's nice and tight. It's bouncing in the truck, job site to job site, stuff falling on it.
Mhm.
What we mostly see is just chain stretching, which is common. Everything's new in the machine when you get it. We always recommend after the first couple of jobs, go back, tighten up the chains, because once they
Mhm.
stretch, they won't stretch no more. Tighten them up, because what will happen is the chain will start jumping over the sprocket when it gets too loose. And once it winds up on top of the tooth, it gets so tight it just breaks the chain.
Mm.
And then you got material stuck in the machine.
Yeah.
That keep your shear blades clean. Just a silicone spray keeps the heat down, keeps them sharp, lasts longer.
Mhm.
Not much on a gutter machine, just really your chains, keep them lubricated, keep your shear blade lubricated. Just check your bolts once in a while. They're a pretty robust machine.
Yeah.
They're strong, they're built to last.
Mhm.
That's one thing I love about this company. We don't chintz on parts. I have two quick stories. Had a guy about 5 years ago come pick up a combo, got trained. We load them up back of this truck. We recommend you strap it in so it doesn't slide out since it is powder coated frames. He goes, I'm just going down the street. I'll be fine. Here,
Mm-mm-mm.
we'll even give you a strap. No, I'm good.
Wasn't it Murphy's Law we talked about earlier?
Yes. He got, and I tell this story all the time at trade shows to customers and let them know, because this is a good example how well the machines are built. He got a few blocks down the road, hit a dip, and the machine fell out of the truck out into the middle of the road.
Mm-mm-mm-mm.
Embarrassed, of course. He found someone with a forklift nearby to pick it up and put it on his truck. Called us and let us know what happened. We told him just bring it in, we'll go through it. And so well, I ran a piece here, it still ran fine. So he ran it for a year. Unbelievable. Every year we started doing the last, well, except for the last couple of years due to pandemic, we did an open house at our shop for adjustment days. Bring your equipment in, we'll adjust it free of charge. We'll do a catered meal and all that, get to know the customer, swag. So the guy brought his equipment in and said, hey, we know you. Looked at it, it was just bent a little, but the thing still ran straight.
Nice.
Preventive maintenance helps out a lot, making the machines last long. When you open up and see a bird's nest in one, you kind of know preventive maintenance was not done on the machine. That happened to me going to one job site. The customer was laughing about it, but no, we take care of it, show him what he needs to do. And that's why Ron and I really started pushing the preventive maintenance, the training of the machine, how to make it last.
Mhm.
I saw machines out there. We worked on one from 1999. Came in to get it converted over from an SSP to an SSQ. Machine was still running great. So even the machines back in the middle, the late 90s, is still running today.
Wow. Do you find when you're selling newer machines that you're selling a lot of the new tech with it, like the counters and so on?
Yes, moving with the times, we came up with an easy counter that you just punch in, say 13 feet, it'll run out 13 feet, stop, you shear it, hit start again, you just punch in your lengths. and you'll just run out that length until you change the measurement that you need for the next cut for the gutter machine. Panel machines, we moved up to, came out late last year for a unique controller where it's USB port. You can do all your programming, do Excel spreadsheets. It works with Apple CAD.
Wow.
Where you can program it, download it in there, all your cut lists, go to a job site and just cut it all in one shot.
Nice.
Our machines, the SSQ side.
What's SSQ?
It's a standing seam. The Q stands for quick change.
Okay.
2007, we debuted it at MetalCon. And by March of 2008, we were in full production of the Qs. And the way that came about is listening to our customers from all the tech calls, going to trade shows. I'd love to see this. I'd love to see this. Changeovers kills us. It's 4, 6, 8 hours to do a changeover in SSP. So we took all that to the table in our engineering meetings and came up with the SSQ, which was quick change. So now our roller sets could be all taken out from the top instead of through the entry and exit of the machine, tearing it all apart. So within 45 minutes, I could train you, Rand, and you could take a roller set out, put a roller set in, and start running material within 45 minutes, even someone new. The nice thing we learned about it, being on shorter rails, on 1/2 inch thick aluminum rails that we designed and machined, we have the repeatability. You don't have the twisting of the rails like the old SSPs, which still works today. I still do a lot of roller sets for our older machines. Just a lot more user-friendly, easier on the roller sets. We don't have to give a lot of pressure, because every time a rail twists or moves, it's you have to make adjustments.
Right.
But the Q was a huge success for us, for our customers going forward. Now one guy told me, man, took me a week just to do 3 jobs in one machine in his old SSP. And now I can do that in one day. So my business doubled, tripled, quadrupled.
Wow.
Just because of that. And that's the stories I love to share, letting our customers know we listen to them, we go and make changes when it's necessary to help improve the product for the end user.
So is there, I don't know if you could tell me this, but is there anything in the hopper, like new ideas for your gutter machines coming out? Like, is there one thing that, you know, you wish you could do in the next couple of years?
Gutter machines are just real standardized. Your K-style gutters. We did purchase a few years ago Nasser gutter machines, which is very well known up in Canada.
Yeah.
With the quick change. We are working on a newer style of a gutter machine.
Yeah.
Not much I can talk about. Where we're trying to combine both from our gutter machines and Nasser and combine them into one.
Yeah, in fact, that's I didn't know if you were going to bring that up or not, but I looked into those Nasser machines. I've never seen them, but I certainly saw some of the profiles that were available, and it was, you know, it was pretty neat. For us, we have a half-round gutter machine, and we also have a European box gutter machine. So, you know, we have totally different styles other than the K style, but you know, it was pretty neat, that machine there, the setup that they had, for sure.
Yes, with the quick change roller sets, that's something new for us. We all know panel machines are quick change now. Why not a gutter machine? No, we're going down that road, playing with it. We learned a lot from the Nasser machines, which we build a few here and there, especially the profiles.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't realize how many profiles Nasser machines made. I just got caught up with the K style, seeing the cove, the 3-step, 2-step. It's impressive, some of the profiles that they offer.
Yeah, and all of those profiles, do they all use the same gutter coil?
Same gutter coil, just different widths. Master use was kind of like an oddball, 13 and a half, 15. 15 is kind of standard for our machines. Just some different sizes just because of the way the gutter's designed.
Right. Gotcha. Well, it's I can't think of too much that you could put into a gutter machine to change it other than the profile, unless you could come up with a robot to put it up on someone's roof line. I'd love to. I think I'd be a multi-millionaire, billionaire if I could figure out how to do that.
Yeah, I'm sure a lot of people would like that instead of climbing up and down the ladder all day. That's a lot of work doing gutters. I give a lot of gutter guys out there a hand of applause because it's a lot of work going up and down the ladder.
It sure is. Yeah. And it's hard on your body, up and down and carting those ladders around. And there's guys out there doing it for a long, long time, that's for sure.
Absolutely. We even had one of our welders back in the days bought a 5-inch gutter machine and started toying around, doing friends and families. And he got so big, he left our place and ran his own business now.
Oh, yeah.
3 of our gutter machines and
nice.
travels all over running them.
Good.
A lot of success stories with our equipment.
Good. Well, listen, I really appreciate you taking the time to talk with me today. And, I was down in Denver. I didn't get a chance to meet you when I was down there, but Haley took me through the plant. And I'm sure, a lot of guys will enjoy seeing the plant and how things are done. And, just how, neat. I enjoyed just seeing what we use every day and how we make our living, where it came from. So that was kind of neat, I thought. So
it is. It's an eye-opening watching customers walk through, seeing everything, how it's made, how it's adjusted, what's the process, seeing our inventory. I always talk about our inventory. When you walk through the shop, when I give tours, do this to give the customer confidence, man, I broke this part. I need it in the middle of a job. We have it sitting on our shelf. We'll get it out to you overnight if you need it that bad. And if you get us, and I always tell my customer, if you catch me in between where I'm waiting for parts, it's out being heat treated or plated, I'll actually go to a machine and take one off of customers to give to that customer. Get him up and running so I know when the next batch will be here so it doesn't delay the next customer.
Right.
Just to let our customers know, even though you bought a machine, you're still our customer and we will still take care of you today.
Yeah, well, that's important in any business for sure.
Yes.
Just on that note, before we wrap things up here, has, with COVID and all the supply chain issues that we've been dealing with, how has that affected you guys, or has it?
It has. It's been a struggle. My purchasing team is pulling out every stop, looking for new vendors. Our vendors are having vendor problems. We're all dealing with it. We just take it day by day for what we have and do planning and keep our customers aware of where we're at with their equipment, that they're next in line. It put us back about a week or two. We're slowly catching up. We're seeing some improvement. Every week's a new week, so we just hang on and work around what we can and try to keep things flowing out the shop to our customers.
I don't think it's going to sort itself out in the near future. I think we're just going to have to keep dealing with it for a while yet. So
a new way of running the business. Yes.
Yeah. Well, there's always challenges. So,
yes.
Well, listen, Steve, I really appreciate you taking the time, and can't wait to get back down to your neck of the woods in late April and put a shake hands and see what you're up to, and hope we see you at some point at Gutter-Con. And I think you guys are actually sponsoring one of our networking events the Friday night. We're going to the Wine Coup Brewing Company. Yes. And you guys are going to be there, so hopefully some of your people can make it to that too for a little bit of fun and some drinks.
Oh, absolutely. It's meeting the people is always fun for us, even for our sales team, for Tom,
Mhm.
Haley, Gabby,
Mhm.
our service team, Ben, Nate, Brian Yancey. We'll all try to make it over there so we can answer questions, mingle with them, see how their business is running, what they
Yeah.
like to be and do, and wherever we can help out, we'll all pitch in and help out and enjoy our time there.
Yeah, super. Okay. Well,
Yeah.
thanks again, Steve, and appreciate this. And we'll be seeing you at the end of April. Thanks a lot.
All right. All right. Thank you.
Okay.
All right. Bye.